Hey guys, I'm Clarke, and today's video is based on an idea I had about pedal stacking. Now, stacking overdrives is a really common thing to do. Putting two or sometimes more pedals together to get the desired tone happens all the time. Now, a particularly common way of doing this is what I do myself, is to have an amp in the box style pedal, giving you a kind of mid to high gain distortion or overdrive, and putting a lower gain overdrive in front of it to shape your sound, but ultimately give you a slight gain boost. Now, there's obviously no right or wrong pedal to use as a boost or as your main overdrive, but there are some common ones. So if you're having a higher gain pedal, often people will put a tube scream in front of it to push the mids, smooth off the highs a little bit, and tighten the low end. Also, people use clon style pedals, blues breaker style pedals, all sorts of different things, and they all give different characteristics. But the reality is, when you're gigging, that even if you're using the complete same rig in different rooms, it sounds different. And if you're borrowing backline at maybe a festival, you may find that your setup doesn't work great through the amp they've provided. So that got me thinking that if you could take a really versatile overdrive, like Amp in the Box pedals tends to be, with 3-band EQs, a massive gain range on tap, then maybe you could have a boost pedal that you could tweak to whatever situation you're in, or just to get it perfectly how you want it. Maybe you love a tube screamer, but the mid boost is a bit too much or not enough to what you want. So if you had a 3-band EQ and the gain and the volume, all of that as normal, with that 3-band EQ, maybe you could make it exactly what you wanted. So to test this out, I have 6 Amp in a Box pedals, and I've paired them up as I think maybe they might work. I've not actually tried it yet. I'm going to try it for you live on camera. So to start off with, we have the Dude from J-Rock Audio and the 1991 from Funny Little Boxes. Now, I've ordered them so that the 3-band EQ pedal is first, so I can try that, modifying the tone of the boost pedal idea. So without any more rambling, this is the clean sound. And let's get a nice amp tone out of the Dude. It's a great sound, the Dude. I instinctively want more gain, but I'm not going to do that because we're going to try and get that by layering it with the 1991. So actually, that's a great tone. So let's see what happens. Currently, everything's at 12 o'clock. Obviously, Amp in the Box pedals are able to go quite high gain, and we're probably going to overload it with gain if I have it too high. So let's start with both gain knobs down at 9 o'clock. Okay, right off the bat, I think that's actually a really great sound. It's kind of done the tube screamery thing of just pushing those mids, giving that honky frequency a little bit more push. It's definitely taming the low end a little bit. But let's say we wanted to make it a smoother thing, make it beef up the low end and roll off the tops and the mids. So if we crank the bass up and roll the other two down a bit, what does that do? Yeah, that works great. Okay, let's try the other way. Let's really tame those low ends. We'll still tame the top end, make it a little bit smoother by taking some of that brightness off, but I'm going to push the mids a little bit, make it cut through a bit more. Now, that sounds a little bit thin, but I think actually it would be a really good thing because I've taken some of that bass end off. It's obviously made it a bit thinner, but that's the kind of frequency that when you have loads of it, it sounds great when you're playing on your own, but as soon as you're playing with a band, you've got a bassist there, suddenly it's too much. So another thing people love to do is push the volume into the next pedal to make it saturate more, and this is when messing with the EQ is really going to stand out. So let's do something quite dramatic with the EQ. Let's push the low end, actually. We'll keep the treble down, we're going to push the mids and bass, and then I'm going to crank the volume up a bit. The sustain is brilliant. Quite a lot of noise going on now, but that's to be expected, really. Okay, now let's try putting the volume down again, and what we're actually going to do is bring the gain down on the dude, so instead of having a high gain and a low gain, I'm going to try and have two more equally gained pedals. So we should have just two totally different vibe overdrives. So if I drop it about there, and then set this up to be somewhere similar. Very different characters, but similar levels of gain, I would have said to my ear. So let's try it. So you've got that gain sound, got this gain sound, and then together. Sounds pretty great. What I do want to do though is try them the other way around. Before I get on to the next part of the video, I just wanted to remind you guys that when I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away this signed fuzz pedal that was used on the recording of the last Brave Rival album. So if you like gear, lessons, and other guitar-related videos, make sure you subscribe to be in with a chance of winning. Okay, so now we have them wired the other way around, so we should pretty much have the same sounds. Let's see how they stack. So if we now treat this as our main overdrive. Sounds cool. I'd again want a little bit more gain. Okay, let's see what happens if we add the dude in. Wow, that's a lot of gain in there, so I reckon I'm going to dial the treble down a bit. And also the gain down a bit. Fuzzy tone, very different. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I think maybe this one, but let me know down in the comments which of those two you prefer. But for now, let's move on to the next pair of pedals. Okay, next up we've got a Marshall pairing. I've got the new JVM pedal, which I absolutely loved. I haven't seen my review on that one. I'll put a link down below and probably on the screen somewhere now. Really cool pedal, check it out. And the Governor, this is the reissue version of the original Governor. I have never tried it. I'm borrowing this one from Peter, so once again, thank you, Peter. Let's see how they sound together. I think they're both quite high gain, so I might need to be a little bit careful here. So let's start by setting up a good tone on the JVM. Sounds good. Okay, let's try the governor on its own, because I have no idea how much gain this thing's got. Okay, it's not too high gain. Let's try stacking them together. Not too noisy either. Okay, so let's do the same thing we did before. Let's try and get like a really mid-pushed sound out of it. So dial the treble and bass back a little bit, mids up. And let's try the reverse. Even more scoop. Too much scoop. I can do with a bit more gain. Ooh, I got hissy real fast. Bit too much gain, I reckon. I think these two work a bit better together, particularly in that mid-pushed setting that I had. Let's put that back. Yeah, I definitely think these two work better together than the Dude and the 1991 did. Obviously, so much of this is going to be down to which pedal you pair with which. I think these two are a particularly good pairing, but let's try it the other way around. Okay, they're switched round, so once again, let's get a good tone out of the governor. It's a bit more lively than the JVM. The JVM is quite tight and controlled. Bit hissy. Fizzy, I mean. Now, because I haven't got the 3-band EQ before, like I did before, this actually is where I mean there's a limitation. I'd like to lower the mids a little bit on the JVM, but I can't. The only thing I can do is lower the mids on here, but that will then affect my tone when I'm not using the JVM. So if I turn that down a bit... It's also quite bright. But that brightness, I think, is inherent to the governor. So let's turn the brightness down. That is pretty low already. Let me know what you think. I think the other way around worked better, personally, but let me know what you think down in the comments. Okay, so finally, I've got the Deluxe 55 from Origin Effects and the Riverside from Strymon. I've reviewed both of these, so again, I'll put links below. I love them both, and these two came straight off my pedal board just earlier on. But I've never tried stacking them together, so let's see what happens. Same logic as before. I've got the 3-band EQ1 first, but I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to work better with the Origin first, but we'll come on to that in a moment. So again, let's get a nice amp tone out of the Deluxe. Probably a bit too much gain. I'm going to put it on the lower gain setting. Just love that tweed sound. Even cleaner like that, it's just got this saturation to it. Okay, let's stack it, see what happens. That's very saturated. I'm actually going to put the Strymon on its lower gain mode as well. And then let's push those mids and the treble a bit. Dial that back the bass. Bit thin, even when you got a bass. I think that's a bit too thin. That's better. It's pretty cool sounds. I'm going to turn off the mid push mode on the Strymon. See what that does. Yeah, I preferred it on. It's got more thickness to it. Okay, let's go for a smoother drive thing. So let's turn the mid and treble down, push the bass a bit, maybe a lead boost. So let's push the drive up a bit as well. I feel like a lot of the gain is coming from the Strymon at the moment. So let's dial back the gain on that and dial up the gain on the Deluxe. Fun. It's a cool sound. I just think it's lacking something. Maybe it's level. Let's just boost it up a little bit. Yeah, it was level. That sounds great. Okay, let's try it the other way around. Okay, got them the other way around now. Let's start with a bass tone from the Strymon. Yeah, and that sounds good. Let's... I don't really have to do this one, because this one's a very unusual pedal. If you're not sure what I mean, go have a look at the video I did on it that's below, because it's got very unusual control set, particularly down the bottom left-hand corner here. But we won't dive into that right now. Woo! That's a really good way of adding a different character to an overdrive. That's a really cool rhythm tone. Probably a bit lifeless for a lead tone, but if we add that on, great lead tone, really like that. And if we were just to use the origin on its own, a lot of low end there. That's the risk with doing that. On its own, that's too much, set the way it is. Into the Strymon, though, it pushes the low end of the Strymon just to be, yeah. I know I overused the word thick, but that's what it is. Okay, so what do I think? Well, yes, you can use an amp in the box pedal as a boost. I think it adds some versatility, like I predicted, which is cool. The idea does work. I think you still end up with limitations. Even with a 3-band EQ, you still can't control where those frequencies are. They are set by the manufacturer. So there are still limitations, as there are with any pedals, but I do think this allows you to tone chase a little bit more. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you, because it's very easy to get option paralysis. You can easily get more bogged down in fine details, whereas when you got a tube screamer, it does what a tube screamer does, and then there's very little manipulation you can do. I think maybe my idea that the 3-band EQ needs to go first isn't really true. I think both can work, and it's down to the character of that particular pedal as to whether it's going to work better or worse first or second. But what I think I have proven to myself, and maybe some of you guys as well, is that you can use amp in the box pedals as a boost to another pedal, or I suppose an overdriven amp, though I'm not trying that today, but I guess there's no reason why that wouldn't work. So you can use these pedals, even if that's not what they're originally designed for. There's no reason why you can't. So if you take one thing away from this video, it's to experiment with pedals, to get different tones. It's easy to do what's been done for, I was about to say hundreds of years, what's been done for decades, and stick a tube screamer in front of a Marshall. And it sounds great, that's awesome. But half the fun, for me at least, with pedals is experimenting and finding new tones. So my advice is, if you like some of the tones here, but you were like, oh, Ed, why didn't you do X, Y, and Z? Give it a go. Try it. That's the fun of pedals. You can mess with the orders and get all sorts of wild and wonderful tones. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed with the bell icon ticked to be notified of new videos. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.